Let me tell y'all something that I do. It's a little key. A lot of people probably do it, but peace and blessings, shalom. Man, another way I pour into myself or do things is that I basically prep myself for what I'm coming into. What do I mean? I'll come into like I go to a store like an art store, Home Goods or something, and even through my transition, even through uncomfortable moments where I cry, emotions comes up, I prepare myself. I prepare myself by taking self-care moments just to myself and going to smell some candles. Am I the only one to do this? I can't be the only one. I'm gonna tell you another secret of mine. I love decor or like interior design. So I basically go look at stuff to prepare myself for that said new home, for that said new environment. Intentionally go look at stuff, go look at pictures, go look at furniture, and literally put my mind there as if like I'm already sitting in it or I already have it. Even if I go on things and go look at stuff, bro, to really put myself there. One thing about an artist, is this a gallery share? What is this? This is crazy. I don't even know what that is, but I'm just very intentional with certain things, like when I go look at stuff, very intentional. Like I said, I had a moment earlier about literally crying, purging stuff, getting through stuff, thoughts comes up. That's why I always encourage mental health, to pour into yourself. Like I said, coming into this is a Home Goods, and I look around and I'm literally setting my intentions right now. Even though things can feel uncomfortable, I'm literally got my mindset on how I want a certain house to look, how I want a certain property to look. What do I want in there? The intentions on what type of paintings. I walk around and see what inspires me. What's giving me insight about where I want to travel. Bali's on the list. So you just never know, when you're so used to being comfortable in an environment where you need to probably just go and see something that is, that can pretty much inspire you or give you some type of inspiration. So that's what a lot of things that, a lot of you that don't probably know how to take a moment to yourself, or if you're looking to do something, just go to something where there's not a lot of people. Right now, there's probably nobody in here other than the workers. But it's me trying to find time to where, I can have a moment where emotions rise. We're in an eclipse season. But at the same time, after that purge, after that crying, I'm literally cutting people out of my life right now. A lot of things are falling away. But I know that when I do this, it's literally preparing me. This is so beautiful. It's literally preparing me. Whoa. I wonder what type of stone this is. Look at that. Whoa. But this right here just gives me inspiration for a new place. You gotta really, not you gotta, but I'm just letting the universe know, okay, even though this is happening, I'm ready for what's next. And everybody's not ready for that uncomfortable stage of going through things where you have to shift. Again, I don't have to hide from myself. I don't have to hide from nobody else. I really don't give a fuck how people see me, view me, and so forth. But coming through here, for instance, growing up in different graphics where you didn't get a lot of new stuff, but a lot of stuff was more geared towards material things like shoes and trying to keep up with the Joneses. No, man, I'm literally in the place right now within myself to where it's knowing what I deserve and being intentional with like everything moving forward. Not just who's in my life, but literally like from moving forward, places I travel, expansion, who's in my life, who I share my energy with, who I open myself up to, what am I closing doors to, what am I opening myself up to. It's so important. Like a lot of these things we don't realize because when we were younger, we were exposed to so much. And so a part of the healing journey and so forth is like I had to really learn how to close those doors to what I was exposed to. I think that's very important for whoever right now is going through something, is that there are doors, there are energies, there are things spiritually that your mother and father never closed the door to. That's like leaving the door wide open to energies, leaving things wide open for you to be susceptible to spiritual attacks or just attacks mentally, emotionally, physically. So a lot of us, I would say in my stage of my life, like I literally, like when I'm healing or facing ancestral traumas or unresolved emotions or things that have been passed through, I literally realize like, yo, you're closing the door to that poverty mindset, to that escapism, to that sexual trauma. A lot of us are closing the door for good, literally like boom, slamming the door to a lot of that shit and not ever looking back. That was one of my biggest things where I had to recognize my behavior patterns. I had to recognize my patterns and realize like, no, I got me here, and not blaming everybody else. I got me here. And so the uncomfortability of that is like, okay, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to rise out of this? What are you going to do? Are you able to get up, brush yourself off, go look at new stuff? Like you really got to put yourself in a place where it's like, it doesn't matter where you at. I'm telling myself, it's about experiencing something new and feeling worthy of it. I know that it sounds so uncomfortable to people, but it's like me coming in this store, it makes me reflect on like, dang, the places I was before. I'm like, ugh. You know, and it's no judgment to people. Like, it brought up something to me where like, you know how people donate stuff to a house? And I tell people, y'all, you don't know the energy that it carries. Like when you are, like people give you stuff. Sometimes people don't know the energy that is attached to it. Sometimes you even got people donate stuff to you. And I know some people like to hold on to stuff. I told you it's energy attached to it. So you're talking about like them receiving something in the home, and I get sentimental value for certain things, but I'm talking about stuff that's like old and passed down. And I know people need to go through that experience, but me, I told myself like where I'm at, I was like, not only do I deserve something new, but I was like, I'm worthy of something that's like of substance, of value, quality. And I was like, man, I'm gonna be the first to do that. You know, with many homes or properties, a lot of us have literally gotten to a place where we're not only are we closing the door on poverty mindset, but you're talking about cycles of doing the same thing, repeating the same pattern, and not feeling worthy of something new experiences with people, new experiences with loving ourselves, and then attracting people who also mirror that back. So I'm telling you, I'm going through some internal shit and purging stuff, and I'm like, yo, like I recently reconnected with someone that I haven't seen in years. And I was just blown away, like, whoa. And just, you know, like in all of that, in the midst of like, it seemed like a storm, it's like something miraculous can happen. Even when you reconnect with someone, I'm like, yo, whoa, I haven't talked to you in so long. But just for that mere moment, it just inspires me and reminds me like, yo, keep going. Keep going. A lot of you keep going. And then sometimes at the same moment, sit the fuck down too. Sit down, rest. It don't gotta make sense to nobody else. But this right here, like I said, as an artist, just as a person, when I was younger, I didn't feel like I'm worthy of deserving more out of life. And I don't mean just gaining more material. I'm talking about from being in traumatic experiences to where I feel like this was all there is. Is my life always going to be like this, feel burdensome? Am I always going to be connected to these people? And that says a lot when you're around. Ooh, wow, I'm walking up to something amazing. That says a lot even when you're around in certain environments where it can seem like, okay, it's time to relocate. It's time to move. Even when you don't know how to. It's time to literally break the chain. Yo, this is fire. I just love the symbolism of stuff. It's literally time to pack up. I like that. This is so cool. I might take a picture of that just to put on the front of the video. This is dope. This says a lot right here. Whoa, that statue is amazing. But yeah, you gotta have, that's a good totem. The horse spirit. Yes. I'm telling y'all, man. Get out, see something new. That will shift the energy. That's what it does for me. That's what it does to me. It literally shifts like the energy, my perspective. Because if I stay in one spot and try to just sit there and be like, oh my gosh, I feel like this, I feel like that. No, I had to tell myself, like, get up, get out, go cry, move on, move forward. Because that's not encouraged enough in especially in the darker community for our young men to cry, or even just for men to cry. And that's been a very challenging thing that I won't hold back from anymore, is realizing like so many things that I felt that was resolved wasn't resolved. I couldn't lie to myself about that. And then so many things that I needed to resolve with myself that was unresolved or needed to purge out, needed to be honest with myself about. You know, so I wonder, is this real? And I think they really be having real, what do you call this? Amethyst. Oh yeah, you can definitely feel it. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, when I say like, you really gotta set intentions, like when I see the world maps on stuff, I'm like, yo, you gotta literally get prepared. It's a mental thing, because your thoughts, your mind, it's like you're soaking all this in. That's what I get from it all. It's like, yo, I had to go somewhere. Like I said, I was sitting in the car, I was like, nope, I'm gonna cry, let me get this out. You know, go look at something and get ready for it. Literally, get ready. It ain't always like, you know, I used to say this. I used to tell myself this, and it always happened. Either I wrote it down, you know, you hear people, it don't matter about them. Either I noted it and I knew it was gonna happen, or vision or something, or I would either speak it, I would go look at stuff, and literally I would tell myself, you want to rush the process, but you really don't. Because I told myself, I'm like, yo, had I not went through certain things, why would I need to think that I wouldn't have felt like I deserved it, or I wouldn't know how to keep it. That's another thing, like recently learning stuff about, one thing I was learning is how to educate myself on money. And a lot of things, when I tell you, like healing yourself has a lot to do with, you know, healing your emotions has a lot to do with your currency, like healing your money aspect. And shout out to Seagoat. What is her page? Seagoat. I forgot her page. I know it's Seagoat something. But that is very important, because I always express to y'all, like, there's an emotional side to money. And it really is, because people can come into things, have a windfall or whatever, and not really know what to do and how to do with it. Because there's an excitement, or there's a, you know, worthiness. There's a lot to it. I can go on and on. So yeah, again, the journey, you know, has shown me like the divine only would give you something not when you think you want it, but in moments where it feels like, you know, the divine knows you're prepared for it. And that's been one of the most gratifying things for me. It's like knowing when I gotta have this right now. I gotta have this right now. But I'm telling you, man, like, really be patient on that. Because when it lands in your lap or it's right in front of you, you don't really, you won't ever have to force anything with the divine. You don't ever have to feel like you gotta beg, push, and so forth. Sometimes you need that purge and that cleansing before it actually comes in. Like I said, in the midst of things, in a storm, you got to find a way to look for the rainbow or be the rainbow. Like I said, going through expressing my story, expressing my experience, educating myself, like I said, on money, and learning the importance of, like, there's an emotional side to it. Okay. I wish you flowers. I wish you roses. That's a dope song. But yeah, educating myself on certain things, because unlearning a mindset, unlearning a way of being has a lot to do with shifting how you approach life and being more intentional and knowing you deserve certain things and knowing that it's on its way to you. It'll present itself in many different ways. That's how I had to learn. I told you before, like self-sabotaging patterns, behavior patterns, to where I couldn't be able to speak like I am now if I didn't learn certain things. If I didn't feel like, okay, how am I going to elevate? How am I going to expand? How am I going to ascend in certain ways if I don't be able to see what's really going on with me? What's really going on with the people around me? You know, and it's uncomfortable as fuck. It ain't easy. It's very uncomfortable. Very, very much. Because I'm telling you, phew, I didn't ever think I would get to certain places had I not did the inner work, had I not really faced myself, had I tried to skip the journey of, like, trying to transform, trying to be like someone else rather than going through something where I know that they wouldn't know what it really feels like to feel worthy of certain things. You know, one of my greatest, I wouldn't say goals, but purpose and mission is to be in a home and create a home that doesn't just reflect, you know, not more so the material, but reflects my internal home. A home that is safe, secure, you know, reflects love, truth, honesty, authenticity, reflects the feminine and masculine, you know, aspects of, you know, who I am. That's why I couldn't say I am going to have multiple properties, because it's like an expression. I don't know if I can be so stagnant. And I say that and I walk up on something that talks about Italy, traveling and stuff. So very much true. But again, go see new stuff. Walk. Spain. What is it? Yeah, go walk. Go into new environments. If you're going through a transition right now and it's very uncomfortable, cry, breathe, but also go look at something that you never did before. I've never done this before. When it comes to, like, a Home Goods, I think this is my first time ever being in a Home Goods per se, and I didn't even know they had. I realize now it's all home decor. They got food, and it's like literally where I'm at, preparing myself for such things. And then when you're in there, it has to be a feeling of a lot of uncomfortable feelings that come up, because I'll leave y'all with this. I've experienced in the last year and a half from my own thing, going through my own experience of knowing what it was to being in the hotels, sleeping on the floor with, you know, pad, folding up covers, you know, doing things to rest. And when I came in the store, you know, I was going near the linen. And when I touched the linen, it's like, truthfully, I got emotional. I got emotional because the uncomfortability of, like, the memories before I touched the covers. But then it was the joy in knowing that, okay, that memory, those things are in the past. I'm here right now. I'm touching this, and someday this will be my bedspread. And the softness of it. Because anybody that grew up in the hood or trenches or had to rest on the floor, it can be good for the back, but that's not something that you want to be like, oh, yeah, it's something I want to do for the rest of my life. No. And that's just from my experience. The reason why I said that, because I had to feel like, you know what, I'm worthy of this. I deserve this. No matter what the fuck nobody got to say. Okay, good. So anywho, like just looking around is literally preparing my eyes, programming my subconscious or pouring into myself to realize like you deserve this. You're worthy of this. You didn't come this far. And that's why I feel like it was so uncomfortable for a lot of people, because they will stay stagnant and they don't feel like they deserve more. And things are always changing. Like I said, your journey is not mine. My journey is not yours. But it's just the excitement around and the joy around. Like I can say, I did this. I'm grateful. Already in advance, celebrating and like, oh boy, yeah. And it can happen like that. That's what I'm grateful for. So again, yeah, I need to go ahead and get out of here. They said they're about to close. But don't ever, your journey is never in vain. That's one thing I had to remember. I would have never went through what I went through, experienced what I've experienced. And that will always ever change or be ever changing. To be where I am and to just embrace it and keep moving forward in life. Make the best out of it. So, y'all take care of yourself. Peace and blessings. Shalom.